The flower moon didn't pass, it detonated. And now, on May 13th, you're standing in the aftermath. Not metaphorically, energetically, spiritually. Your system isn't off. It's recalibrating under pressure most people can't feel, but you do. Loud, raw. This moon didn't just light the sky, it broke timelines open, and now your body's caught between who you were and who you're being forced to become. Sudden fatigue, surges of clarity, brain fog, the urge to vanish without explanation. These aren't mood swings, they're symptoms, and if you've been wondering what the hell is going on inside your mind, your body, your relationships, this isn't coincidence. It's the post-flower moon shift, and it's just getting started. The flower moon wasn't just a phase, it was a portal. This full moon, rising at the heart of May, blooms at the peak of spring's power. But this year, its timing aligned with a rare energetic pocket, a corridor of soul acceleration. Think of it like nature holding its breath and pushing everything to grow at once. Symbolically, it's the moon of emergence, of revealing what's been buried. It doesn't ask for change, it demands it. And when that kind of force hits the human system, it stirs the emotional underworld, forgotten memories, old wounds, secret longings. Why now? Because May is the bridge between past and future, and the flower moon opened it with fire. You either walk through it or burn trying. So, if you're ready to face what this energy is really asking of you, drop a comment and say, I'm ready, because right now isn't about moonlight. It's about everything that came up when it faded. Let's be honest. Some of you woke up today and couldn't recognize your own thoughts. You moved through the morning like a ghost in your own life. Texts unanswered, tasks half-finished, a strange pressure in your chest, like you're holding your breath without knowing why. You're not broken. You're in the after pattern, the psychic echo that follows an energetic peak. And it's bringing up questions most people don't know how to ask out loud. When did the things that used to matter start feeling empty? Why does time feel stretched and blurry, like you're watching your life through glass? Why do conversations that once felt safe now leave you buzzing, agitated, or inexplicably sad? This is the unraveling. Not because you're falling apart, but because what used to hold you together no longer fits. Maybe you're noticing the habits that drain you, the people you shrink around, the spaces where your smile feels rehearsed. It's subtle at first, a flicker of discomfort, a pause before answering, a delay in caring, but it grows. This post-moon space doesn't just stir the soul, it rewires how you respond to what's no longer aligned. It's like your inner compass got recalibrated overnight. What you tolerated last week suddenly feels unbearable. What you avoided suddenly feels urgent, and there's no instruction manual for it. Ask yourself, who do I feel lighter around? What thoughts keep looping when I lie awake at night? What parts of my routine feel like they're stealing energy instead of giving it? These aren't surface-level questions, they're soul-level diagnostics, because in this aftermath, clarity often comes disguised as discomfort. And yes, it can be lonely, especially if you're the only one in your circle noticing the shift, especially when you can't explain why the world feels louder, faster, more distant. But solitude right now isn't punishment. It's a psychic detox, like your system is clearing interference, creating space for signals you've ignored for too long, instincts, intuitions, truths that don't need validation to be real. This might be the moment you finally say no without guilt, or walk away from a dynamic that's quietly eroded your energy for months. Not because of drama, but because your nervous system finally called it. You don't need to justify what your body already knows. This flower moon didn't bring answers. It brought the conditions for truth to rise. And that truth can be disorienting before it becomes liberating. So if you're feeling the weight of this shift, don't numb it. Sit with it. Let yourself reflect, not with judgment, but with honesty. Because these symptoms, this fog, this friction, it's feedback. Your energy is trying to tell you what your mind has been too busy to notice. And if this is resonating, if part of you feels seen in these words, you've felt it. The unease, the peeling back, the subtle emotional vertigo that makes everything feel just a little off. But this isn't where your story ends. It's where it gets rewritten, thread by thread, with intention. First, you need to understand your system isn't malfunctioning. It's reprioritizing. And if you're trying to push forward with the same speed, the same logic, the same expectations you had before the flower moon hit, you're going to feel resistance. Not because you're wrong, but because you're using old tools to navigate new terrain. Right now, you're standing in sacred disorder. It's like walking through a house that's just been rearranged in the dark. The furniture's the same, but your path through it is not. You'll bump into things you used to move around without thinking. You'll pause more, step slower, question every motion. This is what internal realignment feels like. So how do you move through it? You stop performing balance. You stop rushing to return to normal, because that version of normal was stitched together for a version of you that doesn't exist anymore. Give yourself permission to pause, not just physically, but mentally, energetically. Instead of forcing clarity, sit in the space where the confusion is loudest. There's wisdom buried under that static. Let it rise without trying to control what it says. One of the most powerful things you can do right now is to interrupt the autopilot, the rituals you do without thinking, the choices you make to keep the peace, the roles you play so others don't feel uncomfortable. Disrupt them, not to be rebellious, but to be real. When you feel that tension in your body, that gut twist when you say yes but mean no, listen. That isn't weakness. That's your system trying to protect your alignment. Try this. Before you respond to anything, a message, a favor, a plan, pause and ask, is this who I want to be inside this moment? Not, is this expected of me? Or, will they be disappointed if I don't? This question cuts through the noise, because if you keep sacrificing your frequency to maintain someone else's comfort, you'll always feel fragmented. This moon didn't break you to leave you scattered. It cracked the shell so you could reclaim what you've been taught to give away. That might mean doing less, saying no, leaving things unfinished, letting silence answer questions you don't owe anyone a response to. It's radical, I know, but so is becoming yourself fully. And don't be surprised if the body speaks louder now. The aches, the fatigue, the sudden bursts of energy or emotion, those are your cells processing backlog. This shift isn't just energetic, it's physical. Think of your system like a forest after rain, muddy, messy, full of nutrients being pulled into the soil. Not pretty, but potent. Eat grounding foods, heavy roots, warm liquids, touch natural textures. Wrap yourself in softness. Let the nervous system feel held so the soul can roam. Rearrange your space. Even something as small as shifting the position of your bed or clearing a drawer can tell your subconscious, we're allowed to change things, because you are. And it starts in these small, tangible rebellions against the version of you that stayed quiet, agreeable, or too tired to speak. You don't owe your past self consistency. You owe your present self truth. And that truth? It won't always feel comfortable, but it will feel aligned. This is the work the flower moon left behind. Not the loud, dramatic kind, but the soft, deliberate rewiring of your relationship with choice, with presence, with power. And we're just getting started. Now that you've paused, now that the noise has started to thin, something else is going to surface. Grief. Not the loud, tear-streaked kind, but the quiet ache that comes when you realize you're no longer the person you fought so hard to become. You might miss parts of your old self, the one who could power through exhaustion, the one who kept the peace, even when it cost her voice, the one who tolerated, endured, smiled through it. There's mourning in letting go of even the identities that hurt us, because for a while, they kept us safe. But safety isn't the same as alignment. And your soul, the deeper, unspoken part of you, is no longer satisfied with just surviving. So here's the invitation this energy brings. Let the shedding be sacred. Don't rush to replace what's falling away. Don't scramble to fill the silence. Sit in it. Let yourself witness what you clung to, not with shame, but with curiosity. What stories are you ready to stop telling? What labels no longer fit? What desires have been whispering beneath the noise, waiting for you to finally slow down long enough to hear them? Because now, you're listening. And when you start listening to yourself again, everything changes. You begin to see where your boundaries were never boundaries, just fear, dressed up as politeness. You begin to notice how many decisions you made to keep things calm instead of keeping yourself whole. You stop mistaking urgency for importance. You stop choosing busy over peace. And in that space, the aftermath, the quiet, the raw, you begin to remember. Not who the world told you to be, but who you were before the world taught you to be afraid of your own rhythm. So what now? You begin to rebuild, slow, intentional, like a sculptor carving truth from stone. Wake up and choose one thing that honors you. Not your image, not your productivity, you. Maybe it's not checking your phone first thing. Maybe it's speaking up when you'd usually stay silent. Maybe it's sitting with your coffee in complete silence, letting yourself just be without performance or planning. Small acts of devotion to the self you're becoming. This is how you re-anchor. And when the old patterns try to pull you back, because they will, don't fight them. Witness them. Speak to them. Say, I see you. I used to need you, but I'm learning something else now. That voice inside you, the one that's been getting louder since the moon began to wane, that's not imagination. That's instinct. That's the future version of you, sending echoes back through time, guiding you toward alignment. And all it needs is your willingness to listen, to trust, to not rush the timeline. You're not behind. You're becoming. Not all growth looks like expansion. Sometimes it looks like retreat. Sometimes it looks like unlearning. Sometimes it looks like nothing from the outside, while your inner world remaps itself completely. This is sacred territory. Honor the recalibration, even when it's invisible, especially when it's invisible. This is the energy that follows the flower moon. Not bright, not showy, not Instagram-worthy, but real, deep, lasting. You're not who you were last week. Let that reality settle into your bones. Let it change how you move, how you speak, how you care for yourself. And when in doubt, slow down. Your power isn't in the hustle, it's in your capacity to hear what others are too busy to feel. So, breathe, ground, clear the space, and let this shift do what it came here to do. The moon brought the mirror. You brought the courage to look into it. You woke up this morning a little different, didn't you? Not in a way you can explain, not with words, but in the places that don't speak. In your gut, in your heartbeat, in the silence behind your thoughts, something shifted. It's subtle at first, like catching the scent of rain on dry pavement before the storm arrives. But it builds. It's building now, because what you're standing inside isn't confusion. It's a threshold, and whether you like it or not, you're already crossing it. The flower moon didn't ask for permission. It cracked something open in you, quietly, without applause, without warning. But now, everything that was hidden is louder. The truths you buried to make others comfortable, they're stirring. The dreams you put on hold because you were afraid they'd never work, they're resurfacing. The parts of you that got smaller just to fit inside relationships, jobs, systems, labels, they're waking up. And they're not going back to sleep. This isn't chaos, it's emergence. You don't need to have a plan. You don't need to fix it all right now. What you need, what the energy is begging you to do, is stay with it. Don't numb it. Don't scroll it away. Don't explain it to people who haven't earned the right to witness it. You're in sacred terrain now, and sacred things don't move on schedules. Let the grief roll through. Let the rage rise. Let the confusion stay unanswered. This is the clearing. Think of it like this. Your internal landscape was overgrown. Years of obligations, survival mode decisions, silent pain, and people-pleasing weeds tangled everything. The flower moon came through like a fire. It scorched what couldn't stay. And in the aftermath, yes, there's fertile ground. You're not lost. You're being returned to yourself. But the question is, will you answer the call? Will you keep shrinking to make others comfortable, even as your soul expands? Will you stay silent in rooms where your truth is pounding in your chest? Will you keep living a version of you that no longer fits just to keep the peace? Or will you step into the unsteady, messy, magnificent unknown and trust that your becoming is bigger than your fear? You've already felt the cost of staying small. You know what that life tastes like. The constant ache, the quiet resentment, the haunting thought that maybe, just maybe, you were made for more. Now you get to find out what it feels like to rise, even if nobody claps when you choose yourself. Because this is where the real shift happens. Not in the ceremony, not in the full moon ritual, not in the crystals or the sage or the sound baths. Those are tools. This is transformation. When you look at your own fear and say, I see you, and I'm not choosing you this time. When you don't chase what left, because you finally trust that what's meant will meet you when you meet yourself. When you stop asking for signs because you realize you are the sign. That flicker in your chest, that's not random. That decision you keep circling, it's not going away. That relationship you've outgrown, you know what it's costing you. So now, right now, you get to decide. Not with words, with action. Because this isn't just a spiritual idea. It's a rewiring, a reclaiming, a full-bodied yes to a life that feels like truth, not survival. And yes, the world will try to pull you back. People will question the new you, doubt it, maybe even mock it, because they only understand the version of you that made them feel safe. But you weren't born to be their anchor. You were born to be your own awakening. The version of you that tried to keep it all together, she's tired. Let her rest. The version that's rising, she doesn't need to be perfect. She just needs to be honest. So go ahead. Take the risk. Say no to what drains you, even if you don't have a backup plan. Say yes to what lights you up, even if no one claps when you do. Because the moon didn't just illuminate your pain, it lit up your path. And now, the universe is watching what you do with that light. Will you dim it? or will you become it? Here's the part no one talks about. You already have everything you need, not because you read the books, not because you did the healing, not because you meditated enough or learned enough or forgave enough, but because your soul was always ready. The pain didn't break you, it shaped you. And all the times you thought nothing was happening, the energy was building in silence, beneath the surface, so that when this moment arrived, you'd feel it in your bones. This is that moment. So whatever you've been hesitating on, choose. Whatever you've been questioning, trust. And whatever you've been waiting for, become it. Right here, right now. No more delays, no more rehearsals, no more half versions of you trying to be palatable for people who don't even see the full brilliance of your being. Stand up, step forward, and let the shift complete itself. Here's your challenge. Drop a comment and speak it into existence. One word, one sentence, one truth. Declare what you're stepping into. Say it out loud. Write it. Claim it. Let the universe hear you. Let your soul witness you. Because this is no longer about waiting for the right time. It's about becoming the right frequency. And baby, you're already vibrating louder than you ever have. You're already vibrating louder than you ever have. But louder vibration doesn't always feel like clarity at first. Sometimes it feels like chaos, like your inner compass is spinning wildly while the world around you keeps demanding answers you're not ready to give. Let it spin. Don't rush to fix it. You're not broken. You're recalibrating. It's like your inner system finally received the signal it's been waiting for, and now it's scrambling to update every part of you that was stuck in the old script. And yes, that feels strange. It's uncomfortable. It's disorienting. But don't mistake discomfort for misalignment. This is the burn before the bloom. And the truth is, your old self can't come with you where you're going. Not the one who made herself small so others could feel big. That version of you was a survival artist. She did what she had to do. But now you're here to live, not just endure. Every breath you take from this point forward is your soul reclaiming space it was never meant to give away. Every small choice to honor your truth is a seed you're planting in the rich soil of your becoming. Let the world call it weird. Let them call it dramatic. Let them say, you've changed. Because you have. You're remembering who you were before the world taught you who to be. You're releasing timelines that never belonged to you. This is your rite of passage. And it's not happening later. It's not waiting for next week. It's not waiting for someone else to approve. It's now. So the next time you feel the pull to delay, stop, pause, ask yourself, is this fear or is this freedom calling? And answer it with your choice. Answer it with your voice shaking and your heart pounding, because that's how real power enters, not as a roar, but as a whisper that says, go anyway. And if you don't know where to start with presence, start with stillness if your mind is loud. But start, because the universe already made its move. The shift happened. The moon did its work. The door opened. And it's your turn now. Say yes, not to what you were, but to what you know you're here to become. Not because it's easy, but because your spirit knows. Because every part of you that has survived this far deserves to thrive now. Everything has led to this moment. The sudden awareness that you've been carrying too much weight. The need to pull back and recalibrate. The disorienting flashes of clarity that make everything seem both clearer and more uncertain at the same time. It's not chaos, it's transformation. And yes, while it feels like you're in between, it's exactly where you need to be. The truth is, the most beautiful things in life often rise from the deepest places of confusion. This post-full moon shift is not a mere cosmic phenomenon. It's a call to action, a shift within the very fabric of your being. It's as if the universe is saying, "Here now, take this opportunity to rewrite your story." But here's the catch. This moment won't last forever. The window of opportunity you're in right now is brief. It's a narrow opening, and while the energy is intense, it's also fleeting. You can either choose to keep playing small, to keep waiting for everything to align, or you can step forward into the version of yourself you've always been meant to become. But now is the moment. Not later, not tomorrow. This shift is more than a reset. It's a reawakening. And if you're still here, you've already felt the pull. The aftershocks are not only echoing through your mind and body, but also through your relationships and every area of your life. It's a quiet, subtle process, but one that has the power to change the course of everything. It's as though you've been handed a new frequency, and you must decide whether to tune in or let it pass by. So, what are you going to do with this energy? Are you going to ignore the signs, let the distractions of the world drown out your inner voice? Or are you ready to seize the opportunity to transform, to realign, and to step into the life that's waiting for you? The door is open, but it's up to you whether or not you'll walk through it. As you move forward from this moment, I urge you to reflect on what you've learned in the past few days, weeks, or even months. What are the lessons that keep coming up? What do you feel ready to release? And what are you being called to embrace? Think about the new boundaries you're setting, the new clarity that's been flooding into your life. Take note of the relationships and habits that no longer serve your highest good. The universe has given you a gift, the space to make a change, the energy to evolve, and the wisdom to choose differently. But it won't last forever. So take action, even if it's one small step. Allow yourself the grace to move slowly, but with intention. Allow yourself to feel every emotion that comes up, but don't get stuck in them. Let them pass, and trust that your soul knows where it's headed. You don't need to have all the answers right now. What you need is the courage to embrace the unknown and keep moving forward. If you've been feeling like something deep inside you is waking up, something that's been lying dormant for so long, that's because you are changing. You're being given the chance to step into the fullest expression of yourself, to release the parts of you that have held you back, and to allow the truest version of who you are to shine. And if you've been struggling with doubt, with uncertainty, with feeling like you're just not where you should be, know this: you are exactly where you need to be. This moment, this season of recalibration, is not something to rush through. It's here to help you tune in to a new frequency, a new vibration of who you are and who you're becoming. The world is changing, and so are you. But change isn't something that happens in one big leap. It happens in the quiet moments, in the decisions you make, in the space you create for yourself, in the boundaries you set, and in the whispers you hear in your heart when no one else is around. Take a moment to ask yourself, what part of you needs to be heard right now? What part of you needs to be nurtured? What part of you is calling out for attention, for love, for validation? And most importantly, what action are you ready to take today to honor that part? Because if you've learned anything from the full moon's shift, it's this: the universe doesn't wait for you to be perfect. It waits for you to be present. So drop a comment below and tell me, what has this post-full moon shift awakened in you? What have you realized about yourself? How are you moving forward with this energy? I'd love to hear your reflections and experiences. You're not alone on this journey. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe to this channel